Let's talk about Tennessee. Tennessee. Is there a 10 that we see? Do we see 10 wins here? Over under win totals at 9.5. And you lose a lot. You lose Hendon Hooker, Darnell Wright, Jalen Hyatt, Byron Young, and more. This team was the best offense in the entire country last year. And it was close, I guess. There were some other teams that were up there with them, but this was the best offense in the country last year. And it reflects in their record. They were 11-2, 10-2, losing only to Georgia and South Carolina, who we just talked about. But I mean, okay, Tennessee fans, let's relax. Can't be saying, "Oh, if Hendon Hooker didn't get hurt in that South Carolina game, we would have won." No, you guys are not winning that game. No, but that doesn't mean that you guys didn't have a fantastic season last year. That was awesome, and it's great to see Tennessee when Tennessee's good at football, right? And those games are exciting. And
Neyland Stadium.
Sorry, I was thinking Nederland, Texas. Neyland Stadium is bumping, right? It's awesome, right? And you got a lot of things to be excited for. Joe Milton's there. The wide receiver core is low key electric, right? I'll say that. But 9.5 is a lot. 9.5 is a lot. What do you think? What are you taking?
Me again, I kind of grouped them with LSU. I'm actually taking the under here. I think it scares me. I think Alabama, Georgia, and I think those teams, they're going to go into those games and they're going to be less talented then, which obviously scares you. And you can go 1-2 in those games. I don't think you're going to beat Bama again, especially on the road. I think Georgia's humming again this year, especially by week 12. Hopefully getting healthy at the running back position. But you got South Carolina in the East as well. And then look at these road games in the East. You have to play at Florida, you have to play at Kentucky, and you have to get at Missouri. Like, those are games that I wouldn't call them toss-ups, but those are very losable games. And I think this roster and this, quarterback, especially Joe Milton, a guy, I wouldn't call him boom or bust, but I would definitely say you got some question marks to him. And I don't know how he is consistently, like with his accuracy issues. Like, how can he do game to game? Every game in and game on the SEC have to be really productive. Especially with the margin of error of that offense that they do run. I don't see them winning 10 games this year. I think they're going to slip up a couple times. I couldn't tell you who they are. Outside of Bama and Georgia, I think there's one other loss on that schedule at least, which is why I think that's why I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I push. I don't lean over or under. I'm not with you on the under train there. I just think I'm a big Joe Milton fan. I think he's really, really good. In terms of like what he could be really, really good. Yes. If he's like really, really, really good, right? And Hendon Hooker is a fine quarterback, right?
Hendon Hooker's a really good quarterback. I'm sorry, he's a really good quarterback, I think. He had a really good year.
He's had really good 2 years. He had a really good 2 years with them. I guess we'll see if that was like system based. We'll see how he does in the Lions, but I think these receivers are crazy, dude. Like, if there was like one like Brew McCoy, Squirrel White, Dante Thornton, I mean, these guys are absolute speedsters, right? And if there's someone that's going to be able to get the ball to them, right, like out 40 yards downfield, it might be Joe Milton. Joe Milton might be your guy. So I think like another year in the system, I think benefits him greatly. I really trust Josh Heupel. I think he's a very, very, very good player. They don't have what's his name anymore? That went to Alex Golish. They don't have him anymore. Alex Golish.
Yep.
He's gone, but we'll see. We'll see how they do there. I think like the range of outcomes for this team, I think, is really large, which means I can't lean a certain direction. Like, I think this team could go 11-1. But I also think this team could go 7-5.
Yep.
7-5 seems pretty harsh, but let's be real, Tennessee fans. You know what that looks like. So, and I know what it looks like as a guy who's an A&M fan, right? I know what it's like to have a team that is expected to win a lot of games and it just not to happen, right? And I worry about this defense a little bit. Some aspects of it. I think they overperformed the defense last year, which run game wise, because I think a lot of teams were trying to play catch up, and they were throwing the ball a lot, and that led to some turnovers that benefited Tennessee greatly. Even though Tennessee's secondary was not particularly awesome last year, if you can see the number, yeah, defensively, like teams threw the ball against them more than any other team, but also they were playing catch up, right? So that's a reason. And it also alleviates, some of the stress from the run game, right? But if they're not scoring at the clip that they were last year, it took the number one offense in the country, right? And a top, I'll say, I don't really know what the number is. I'd say top 30, 35 defense.
Opponent adjusted,
Opponent adjusted is probably top 25.
Based on like what the positions you were put in terms of like, of course, people are going to put up crazy like yards on you, especially passing the ball. But in terms of like actually like winning games and like making winning plays, I think they were pretty darn good for the circumstances they were put in.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of Joe Milton. I like the receivers they have. There's talent there. I think they lost a couple pieces on the offensive line, but I don't think it's like, I think the offensive line benefits a little bit in the system because you don't have like crazy 7-step drops. It's really consistent every time, right? So you know where your quarterback's going to be every time.
Yeah.
So I do think it helps in that sense. Hopefully they can run the ball a little bit this year, but again, that might be a little difficult with some of these teams that you're playing against this year.
Yeah,
yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. Like, good luck to Tennessee. I'll say SEC football is better when you're better. So I hope you're really good this year too.
You got to give competition to Georgia. I think absolutely, like Tennessee, and even recruiting wise in terms of like taking a couple guys. Oh, maybe Bama or LSU or A&M or Georgia would take, or even Florida would pluck a guy from the state of Tennessee or the surrounding states, but Tennessee goes
Texas
and gets him
A&M.
like that.
Tennessee fans they'll know all about that with Walter Nolan.
Yeah, which is exact. So not that I'm rooting for him because I'm putting money against him, but I think I'm happy that Tennessee's back and been playing well, and they have a coach that they trust and Josh Heupel that I trust as well. But I don't see it this year. I think 9-3, 9.5 is just big, very big number.
I agree. Well, I agree. It's a large number. I'm not leaning any direction though. But good luck to the Volunteers.